In 2003, the world was blessed with a film not that we deserved, but that we needed. 2003's The Room is a film so bad, so horrendously made, that out of its awfulness grew a cult classic that to this day is still being screened to sold-out audiences in theaters around the world, and is still entertaining millions and millions of people and being discussed and analyzed. It's the sheer incompetence of every aspect of this film that we love and admire. But I want to say that I think this film is a great representation of that no matter how bad a movie gets or how badly it's received, there's always at least one person behind the camera with a vision, a dream, a passion to make the best damn movie that they can that will hopefully be loved by everyone who sees it. That is what we are being shown in The Disaster Artist. The Disaster Artist is based on the book The Disaster Artist, My Life Inside the Room, The Greatest Bad Movie Ever Made, by Greg Sestero and Tom Bissell, and chronicles the relationship between Greg Sestero and Tommy Wiseau, the writer and director of The Room, from the moment they meet in an acting class throughout the filming of the quote-unquote Citizen Kane of bad movies. So the film is a real-life biography about Greg and Tommy. It's a serious and dramatic look about the relationship between the two and everything that they went through to make The Room. And it was a particularly tumultuous production, as there was a lot of fighting and a lot of uncertainty going on set. But at the same time, it has its comedic elements because, you're watching the life of this really mysterious individual who has no idea what it takes to make a dramatic film try. And when he does, it just comes off as so bizarrely hilarious. I think this is a really interesting story, and I'm really glad that Greg decided to tell it. I also really like the way that we get to see things from both perspectives in the movie. On the one hand, we have everyone else who worked on the film. We get to see their reaction to Tommy Wiseau and his directing and his acting, his antics, while on set. And on the other hand, we see Tommy Wiseau and things from his perspective. And again, this wasn't some piece of crap that he decided to throw together to make a few bucks. This was a passion project. And he really envisioned a high-profile Hollywood drama. And so we get to see his reaction to people criticizing him and questioning his creative choices. And it's a really interesting look. It's such a bizarre creative experience that seems so real and at the same time unreal. And I think the movie did a really good job of showing that. Now, because this is Greg's story, he is the principal character in the film. We follow him throughout most of the film. He's played by Dave Franco, and he does a wonderful job in this performance. And I gotta say, with the wig and the facial hair especially, and in the right light, he really does look like Greg Sestero. And so I definitely compliment them on that. But there was one thing I really did not accept, and it's, nothing, I don't blame Dave for that, it's just something that I really couldn't get over, and it's the voice. Dave's voice is a few pitches higher than Greg's, and that really kept me from getting engrossed in the character. But it's not really, again, it's not a fault of his, it's just a personal viewpoint that I really, it's just me. It's just me. And then, of course, Dave's brother, James Franco, plays God's gift to man, Tommy Wiseau. And please, give this man an Oscar. He deserves it. Or at the very least, a nomination. He was perfect for this role. He had the voice, the inflections, the right amount of energy that Tommy uses. He had the New Orleans accent down perfectly. And even though I know there was a lot of prosthetic makeup, he had the bone structure that was good enough to actually come off looking like Tommy Wiseau. It was excellent. It was so wonderful. And when I see him in interviews going between Tommy and James, I just love it. I am so glad he chose to do this. And I really hope to see him at the Oscars next year. The film has a star-studded cast, including Seth Rogen, Ari Grainer, Alison Brie, Paul Scheer, Josh Hutcherson, Bob Odenkirk, Sharon Stone, Megan Mullally, Zac Efron. The funny thing about Zac Efron is I didn't even recognize him in this film. I think I remember looking at the cast and seeing his name, but I'd forgotten when I was watching this, and it wasn't until towards the end at the premiere when somebody turned to him and said, "Hey, you were in this movie?" And he says, "Yeah, I was this character." I was like, "Oh." I think I was just so distracted by the awkwardness of the scene that he's in that I didn't recognize. I wasn't paying attention. So that was an interesting surprise for me. A number of celebrities make cameo appearances as themselves. We see J.J. Abrams and Keegan-Michael Key. Judd Apatow appears, and of course Bryan Cranston. Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero are both apparently in this film, but I missed them. So, sorry. Overall, I think The Disaster Artist is a terrific movie and a must-see for anyone who is a fan of The Room. Overall, I give it a 9 out of 10, and if you haven't seen The Room yet, I'd say you're missing out on a cinematic treasure. Well, that's what I got. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.